This is P. Clark Calc, Practical Calculus for the Busy Math Student, and today we're going to take a look at a video on integrating using the simple log rule. So let's get started here. Here we're doing an example that's going to require the simple log rule for integration. We learned this by doing antiderivatives, and it states that the integral of 1 over x dx is the natural log of the absolute value of x plus c. And what it is, it takes care of that one place where the power rule fails, which is the negative first power. So sometimes you'll see 1 over x written as x to the negative first. Because if you try to do power rule with that, you end up dividing by 0. So we're going to use that here, but before we do, we have to do a little bit of a rewrite. And as usual, when you have a rational function with a monomial in the denominator, we want to divide through. So we're going to be dividing the coefficients and subtracting the exponents here. And when we do that, our integrand function is 1/2 x to the first plus 5/4 x to the 0, so just 5/4, minus 3/4 x to the negative first power, all times dx. So the first two terms are algebraic rules. We have a power rule and then we have a constant multiple rule. Our log rule is going to happen here on the final term. So if we want to kind of isolate them, we can rewrite the integral using sum and difference rule and constant multiple. You don't always have to do this if you're comfortable with what you're doing, but just so you can show it here. So it's 1/2 the integral of x dx plus the integral of 5/4 dx minus 3/4 times the integral of x to the negative first, or 1 over x dx. So we can go ahead and do each of our integrals. We have a power rule here, so it's going to be 1/2 times x squared over 2, or 1/4 x squared. Constant rule next, 5/4 x to the first. And then our log rule, so that'll be minus 3/4 times the natural log of the absolute value of x, and then our arbitrary constant plus c. So there's our integral. So we see that we've used, part of what we've done here is use the log rule. There are a few things happening with this integral. I mean, the algebraic rewrite of dividing through, which we do whenever we see the single term in the denominator, and then that results typically in things like simple power rule or constant rule like we saw in the first two terms. But occasionally you'll have the x to the negative first occur, and you have to remember that that is the simple log rule, which handles the one case where the power rule fails when that exponent is -1. Hopefully you found that video helpful. This is P. Clark Calc, Practical Calculus for the Busy Math Student. But if you want to learn some more about this topic, you can look it up in my textbooks available for a nice price on Amazon. And until next time, I'm P. Clark.